Kentucky is very frontier in its own way. I mean, there's, it's a beautiful landscape. It has a lot of history. It was, essentially a border state in the Civil War. So, we're not really south, but we're not really north either. We're kind of this neutral place. I think, it's a place that caters to, a lot of the elements of life. There's land, there's water, there's people. There's, big contingents of grain operations here. So it's quite conducive to the element of producing whiskey. But I think that, there's also an element of spirituality. There's, the horse industries here, the ties to the horse industry, and, kind of that spirit of, going for it and, giving it your all. I think it exists very pronounced in Kentucky. I think people here are very, while we might not technically be part of the South based on where the Mason-Dixon line falls or whatever, I think that there is a certain amount of Southern hospitality that's very reminiscent in Kentucky. I think, I don't know of anybody who's ever come to Kentucky and said, I never want to go back there. Most people who come to Kentucky see it as a very welcoming state. It's very inviting, the same way we do in our distilleries, where we want to invite people in to experience the industry. And then it's like, once you're in, you can't get away from it, because you become endeared to it. You're enchanted by it. And it's something quite beautiful that I'm sure every state has, something that they're proud of and something that they can speak about, but that's what it means to me. Kentucky's a very karsted area. Certainly we have, one of the greatest natural wonders here in Mammoth Cave, and so a lot of the water that comes down from the Great Lakes region, through caverns, underground caverns, and it's a naturally filtered water, but it's also limestone water. And now I'm going to tell you what my grandfather always told me, which I'm sure there'll be somebody like Tom Bullitt or Jimmy Russell or, any of the number of great distillers out there would say, what is she talking about? But this is the way my grandfather explained to me at a very young age, and it's something that I've hung on to for a long time. So when the importance of limestone water is that there's calcium in that water, and that calcium, the same way, we want our children to drink milk, yeast really likes calcium, and it thrives in an environment of calcium. So the limestone water is almost like an enriching agent for yeast when they're doing the conversion of the sugars. So I think that's the way it resonates with me, but the water is a very important element of what makes Kentucky bourbon special.